This week in Agribusiness, serving America's most essential industry, with agriculture broadcaster Orion Samuelson and yours truly, Max Armstrong, and featuring agriculture meteorologist Greg Solier. This week in Agribusiness is brought to you by Firestone. You never farm alone.
In-person events are making their comeback. The Farm Future Summit returns in person this summer. Hello, folks. Welcome to This Week in Agribusiness. I'm Mike Pearson, happy to be in the studio today. And I tell you what, folks, we have seen a lot of tractors running over the past few weeks as planting season has gotten underway in a big way. To help us look at this situation, Mike Wilson, the executive editor at Farm Futures, is with us. And Mike, I understand you've been talking to farmers from the cab this past week. What have you been hearing with regard to planting?
Well, thank you, Mike. Yes, indeed. I've been out with farmers, took a little tour with them in the spring planting. Some of them were on the first day of corn planting, trying to work the kinks out. But they were pretty happy, I have to say. And in fact, since the first day I was there, maybe about 10 days ago to the time I posted a story at farmfutures.com about my experience, corn went up another $1, and which is pretty amazing. So there are a lot of happy people. They're worried a little bit about a couple of things. They're worried about the dryness. Generally speaking, I don't think we're going to have a worry about prevent planting this year like we did 2 years ago. But we are worried a little bit about the dryness, and I think that we're also worried about inflationary measures that are coming along with commodity prices are shooting up high, and there's a lot of things going on there. But you know that they're already thinking about costs for next year.
Yeah, they absolutely are, because we know when we get in this kind of environment, input costs rise soon after crop pricing. Mike, does that make the farmers you were talking to a little more nervous about getting it right this spring?
Well, there was definitely a sense of urgency in making sure that planting goes well. And I mean, as you know, this is the most important time of year for any farmer. You know, there's statistics about how their time is worth $1,000, $10,000 an hour, whatever. And of course, but I think that the technology these days is such that you can really be rest assured you're going to get the crop in the ground. With a little bit of decent moisture, you're going to get it emerging well. I saw some really amazing planter technology, lots of monitors in the tractor cabs. The guys really are they know what they're doing, and they are putting in thousands of acres a day. You know, it's just pretty amazing when you think about what we can do today with today's technology.
It is absolutely
things
incredible.
are going well.
It is really cool to see this technology coming, but of course, getting the crop in the ground is only half the battle for farmers. We got to get the crop out of the ground. We got to sell that crop. We got to manage our business. And Mike, I know you can help farmers do just that here in the month of June. Can you tell us a little bit about the summit and the Ag Finance Boot Camp that are coming up?
Absolutely. We're having our summit and our Ag Finance Boot Camp for the first time ever in the summer. As you know, the pandemic changed a lot of things for a lot of people. Usually it's in January. But we're very excited to have this in Iowa City this year. The Ag Finance Boot Camp, which is a money management workshop, takes place June 15th. And the Farm Futures Business Summit takes place, same place, the Marriott Coralville Hotel, on June 16th and 17th. And we have all sorts of great sessions that we have planned. It's a live event. You can also check in virtually if you'd like. But we're going to be talking about how to manage your farm and your family operation more like a business. We're going to be talking about the kinds of things that are coming out of Washington, D.C., potential tax changes that you need to be aware of. And we're also going to have Greg Dowd there. He is the former ag trade negotiator in Donald Trump's White House. And this is going to be a very interesting session, I'm sure, because he's going to be talking about what it took to put together that phase one deal with China, as well as what the outlook looks like for ag exports.
Absolutely.
So those are just some of the highlights.
Yeah, it's just some of the highlights. And I think, Mike, and you can back me up on this, I'm sure, one of the major values of these conferences being back in person is connecting with other farmers, talking to them over dinner or at a coffee break and getting some ideas for your operation.
Oh, yes. I mean, this is the thing about live events. You can't, obviously, so many of us have been on Zoom calls the last 12 months. We do the best we can, right? And we think it obviously does have value. But if you're sitting there talking to people and you're kind of connecting with them on what works in your business, what did you try? How did that work out? Farmers listen to other farmers. That's just a standard belief that we all understand it. And this is your chance to get together with people and just find out what's going on with each other, what works, what doesn't work, what's your plans for your operation, and just connect with people.
Absolutely.
It's a great value.
It certainly is, folks. Head to farmfuturesummit.com to get registered.